Alright, welcome back everybody to the channel. Hopefully you're all doing well. Today, we're not actually doing a gameplay, but what we're going to be doing instead is just talking about Ghost Recon in general because, as you all probably already seen, some big news came out. Not really great news, but there's a silver lining. There's some interesting little news, tidbit, maybe a bit of a leak on a new Ghost Recon game coming out. And we don't really know anything about it, but it's good to know that something other than Frontlines is going to be coming for the Ghost Recon series name because, my god, Frontlines is not Ghost Recon at all. Now, that being said, let's talk about the Breakpoint news. The devs announced that Ghost Recon Breakpoint will no longer be getting an update, and that Motherlands was in fact the last bit of content that we were going to be getting. Now, this probably came to a shock to many people, including myself, because a lot of us were probably thinking there's going to be Year 3 content. Things such as the Weaponsmith were never actually finished being updated. You still have the assault variants without semi-auto, and pretty much every rifle and submachine gun, LMG, they're all missing optics that can't be mounted on them. Sure, the reason behind it was for PvP, but I mean, that shit died about 2 weeks after the game released, so it's really surprising that that's not going to be getting fixed anytime soon. So really, this kind of sucks a lot to not be seeing new content coming. There is a lot to do for newcomers in Breakpoint, but there's just things that really should have been fixed before they drop support. But at least in the good news, there is going to be a new Ghost Recon coming out, codenamed Over, slated to release sometime in 2023. Hopefully we hear something about it soon, because I am very curious to see what they're doing. In the meantime, though, I wanted to talk in this video really about what I want to see coming in the next Ghost Recon. I have a lot of experience playing this series. It goes way back, and even recently I got to try out the very first Ghost Recon, which was absolutely awesome. I actually love the mechanics in that game so much. So, want to just jump into it, give my 2 cents. So I figured starting off here, we talk about the main thing, which is going to be mechanics. I think that Breakpoint was a really nice upgrade from Wildlands. There's a lot of cool mechanics that came with it. But there's some things that are just missing, and I'd love to see because they're in other Ubisoft franchises. So for instance, grapple hooks. I think the idea of grapple hooks is really cool. You know, Far Cry has it, and it's just neat. I love the way they do it. I love the way it feels, and I think it would just fit in Ghost Recon. Now in Far Cry, of course, you have fixed points on the map that the devs have to manually place down. It would be even cooler for the player to be able to pick a spot themselves for a rappelling rope. I don't know, you know, if they have the know-how to do it, or if it's even possible, but something like that works well and is fluid would be really, really cool. But even if it had fixed points, I still think that rappelling and grappling would be very much welcomed in the Ghost Recon series. Another thing I hear a lot and see a lot on the subreddit is flashlights on weapons. Now, the IR flashlight was an awesome mechanic. I think that was, you know, not necessarily needed, but damn welcomed. I mean, that's just cool. It would have been nice, though, to be able to turn it on and off, but look, I'll take it as it is, just that sometimes it can actually become a handicap. It's so bright. But having a regular flashlight would be cool, too. As someone who doesn't always play with night vision on, it would come in handy for sure. And I just like the aesthetic. Another mechanic, my god, to carry your teammates. That's one of the cooler mechanics in this game, and it works really well. It's oddly not desyncy. Awesome mechanic, completely useless. If you've ever tried to pick up your teammate in the middle of a fight, odds are you both got killed because it is so incredibly slow. Personally, I don't even care if we can carry. I'm okay with dragging. I think being able to grab the back of your teammate's shirt or vest, wherever they want to make the connection point, and just dragging them would be so much better. It'd be quicker, it'd be more versatile, and it'd just be more useful. Even being able to shoot while dragging them, I think that would be awesome. There would be some really cool moments with that. Something else I've seen people spitball the idea of, and I quite like the idea myself, is the rebel system being refined. I loved Wildlands. I think calling in reinforcements was awesome, and calling in mortars was very cool. The other ones maybe a little bit OP, but one I was thinking about would be a transport system. I think that would be really cool, to have a rebel come in, land a helicopter, or just have a helicopter that would be somewhere ready to pick you up and then fly you to a new location. Again, something similar that exists in other series, Far Cry for instance, you know, being able to have a companion that you can then, you know, have with you. I think that'd be cool to have in Breakpoint for sure. If it was like a rebel system, it would fit into. So another thing I want to talk about was the perk system. It's in pretty much every Ubisoft game at this point, so we can expect to see it. And I don't mind breakpoints. I think it's really good. My only downside is really that you can't turn perks on and off. I think that that's just something that it should be there. It would alleviate a lot of headache with having to make a new character and then pick each perk that you don't want to make a more specific, character style, something more realistic and slower versus someone who's got max stamina and all that. So moving on to settings here, I've heard a lot of people from both sides of the spectrum here. Many have suggested South America again, just like Wildlands, and I think that's a very reasonable and good setting for the series. Fighting the cartel is cool, and I think that the idea of the 4-man ghost team dressed up in civvy gear, it fits in really well when you're fighting the cartel in South America. The other thing I've heard is a Middle Eastern setting. Also a fan of that idea. I like the idea of just a desert terrain in general. I think that'd be fun. And a bit different, from the tropical island and jungles of Bolivia. For me personally, I think I'd actually like to see maybe even a Russian setting, somewhere, thinking back to Ghost Recon Future Soldier, like in Georgia, where you're fighting a Russian-speaking militia type ordeal, and then you can even have Bodark. You're so close to home that it would almost make sense for Bodark to be there, as opposed to them being down in South America or all the ways in the Middle East, which, they do fit in, but obviously more so when you're so close. But regardless of the setting, hopefully they'll make a good choice. I just don't want to see another island. I'm not a big fan of islands. I think you lose a lot of potential. So personally, I'd prefer to see a landlocked map. And lastly here, I just wanted to talk about the customization. Again, another big point. People are always talking about new ways to enhance the customization for Breakpoint and the Ghost Recon series. I love being able to customize your team. You can have all different kinds of stuff. You can have a fully uniform unit versus the more Wildlands style civilian gear, and I like just best of both worlds. So customization, I love it. I just hope that they really do detail the gear a little bit. So there's a lack of detail on the vests for certain, and the helmets as well. We're looking at like 4 mag pouches on every vest. I think we're past that point. Just throw a little detail in there, make it look a little more used and realistic. Same with the helmets, just a plain ops core. Just throw a battery pack or an IR strobe or something on the top. It'll look a lot better. Same goes for the dirt mechanic. It looks phenomenal on the weapons. It's one of my favorite things, with the snow and the dirt buildup on the weapons. And their clothing as well, maybe a little too overbearing sometimes and a little too lackluster when you're fresh out. Looks like it's squeaky clean. I think Wildlands did a really good job. It starts off with a little bit of dirt, but then Breakpoint does a good job of adding to it and making it a little bit more covered on your character. Hopefully they can make it a little more refined in the next game if they continue to have it. I hope they do. So all in all, it's definitely some unfortunate news about Breakpoint not being updated, but there is a silver lining, guys. A little while back, we had the first-person mod for Wildlands, and that was a big hit. Everyone loved it, and I think the biggest question on everyone's mind was, are we going to see this coming to Breakpoint? Well, I've got interesting news. Not that I'm saying I can confirm it's coming to Breakpoint, but one thing I noted from the devs having said is that they won't make it for Breakpoint until the game stops receiving updates. Well, we're here at that point, so at least there's a little bit sliver of hope that we will be seeing that first-person mod coming to Breakpoint at some point now that the game is done getting updates. And I think, at the very least, that's something to look forward to. So guys, if that ever comes out, you may go down in the comments and bust my chachi until I absolutely upload a video on it. I assure you, it will not take me long to download that and try it, because I'm looking forward to it. Nonetheless, I hope you all had a fantastic day. Enjoyed the video. I would love to hear your ideas down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, guys. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care, everyone.